thank you for doing this.
I'm not yet sure if it's a pleasure. We'll find out.
This all on camera, you know. Anyway, thank you for doing this.
When they say we're filming, then I understand what it means.
Okay, thank you for doing this. So just so you understand what it's about, the whole reason why I'm doing these whole series of videos, videos and audio interviews, is because I'm trying to help women to date better. Basically, a lot of women out there want a relationship, but the way they're sometimes coming across as independent, strong, not needing of men, when in reality they actually feel the opposite. So a lot of right now in our society, women can do a lot of things on their own. They don't necessarily need men to change their light bulbs, to fix their car. They don't need men necessarily to have children with even, and for a lot of other things. So men are feeling kind of sidelined, and I think they're taking it out on women, and that's kind of showing up to the way.
What do you mean taking it out on women?
Well, they kind of like don't take women as seriously as they used to, and I think so a lot of women.
You're talking about men becoming demasculated.
Becoming demasculated, which is something we talked about before, which is one of the reasons why I thought this would be a great interview with you. And I think women are losing their femininity. Also, partially not their fault. Partially it's because when they go to corporations, they've been asked to lose their femininity. We don't want women to be too much women, and we don't want men to be too much men. We want everybody to be kind of neutral, so that, you know, there's no issues for the corporation. We don't want people getting together because that's dangerous. So basically what's happening is I have a lot of compassion for men, and I think what's happened. Yes, I do. I have a lot of compassion for men. So, but I also.
How did you judge that?
But I see what women are going through. It is quite difficult these days for women to show that they're interested necessarily, for women to kind of define themselves as the one that he's interested in, because men are feeling more sidelined. I think they do tend to date more than one person at one time. I think they do tend to have many different options, and I think women are struggling to, let's say, set themselves apart. So what I'm trying to do with the series is help women to figure out what exactly sets.
There's an awful lot what you're saying right there.
Yes, there is.
So we may need to break it down into segments.
Okay.
And do one at a time, which may even be prolonged.
Sounds good.
But men are becoming demasculated because women are becoming the stronger tribe.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think.
Okay.
I was having this conversation last night with a great female friend who's quite interesting hypnotist.
Okay.
And I think that the human being's job actually is to become a serial monogamist. I don't think everything is forever. I think, first of all, a good relationship is about having joint purpose in life. Mm-hmm.
Without joint purpose in life.
There's got to be something that connects. Mm. And I've seen many situations where things become disjointed. There's no joint union. Or something that they do together as a couple. That's the first thing that...
So it's like having a combined project.
Yeah. I mean, it could be gardening, it could be kids.
Yeah,
and you see
so very often it is kids.
Right, you see relationships break down when the kids go to university because the representation of the relationship is joint purpose. When that's gone, they don't know what to do. I counselled some friends of mine on their marriage who I'd known all my life. Mm-hmm. And their whole life was about trouble, strife, trying to find a living. But actually that's the very thing that connected them. Mm. And when they managed to get finances in, they bought their own property, bought a bit of land, and the kids went to university, they turned on each other because they were used to struggle. It represented struggle. Mm-hmm. And lucky I saw that because they were literally about to split up, and I kind of really wanted to help these guys, and I couldn't work it out. And I just realised that there was no joint purpose. Mm. Even though the joint purpose was a negative one, it kind of kept them together because the struggle, the kids, all that kind of thing, kept the unit together. So I think whatever happens, joint purpose, hopefully in a positive, is an important part of it. So
having a combined project. How can people do that without, let's say, the kids? We have a lot of women.
There's loads of things. I mean, my kid is 18, and it could be anything. It could be just the arts, for instance. It could be going out. It could be going out for dinners. Like I think they call it date nights now. So they kind of make time for each other.
Yeah.
So they sort of appreciate each other, and they kind of form a friendship. But my understanding of relationships is that they're not supposed to be forever.
Well, you say that, but that's quite a controversial understanding. I think most people, I think
could be
most people,
controversial.
when they come into a relationship, they would
The
like
desire,
it to
that's
be
an
forever.
insecurity. Of course they would, but they don't know. How do they know they want it forever? If they hate somebody in 3 years' time, then they don't
Yeah,
want it to
but
be
you know,
forever.
then you get into the situation where you have women losing their marriage when they're in their late 40s, 50s, even 60s sometimes.
And then men too, right? Women don't just lose marriages
That's
on
true.
their own, right?
That's true. But then we have this situation of a lot of older men dating younger women, a lot of younger men dating younger women. So basically, older women have no one.
Why do men date younger women?
Yes, I would like to know, why do men date younger women?
Because it all comes down to instinct. You know, I've thought a lot about what you said about the 5 languages of love.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, actually.
I'm really into the 5 languages of love.
And it's correct in one aspect.
Mm-hmm.
In the aspect of the operating system that a human being needs to perform in this life.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
But we forget, right, that actually it's not just about personality. There's 2 parts to it. One is personality and one is essence.
Okay.
Okay? But it doesn't work on the essence level.
Explain that.
Okay. I'll do the best that I can. On the essence level, this is where the unknown happens.
Mm-hmm.
The instinct, the stuff that we're born with. The personality is not necessarily present at that point. It's the instinctive behavior. Now, you know as well as I do, you can just, somebody may not tick any of your boxes, but there's a connection.
There's something there. There's the chemistry. It's that elusive chemistry.
It's the elusive chemistry, but that for me comes from the instinctive part. And even though they may not tick any of your boxes, but there's something, or the 5 languages of love, but there's something that connects you.
Well, the 5 languages of love, the whole premise of that is that you keep a relationship, or you win someone's heart by loving them the way they want to be loved. Not loving them the way you want to love them, but loving them the way they want to be loved.
Yeah, but if that doesn't come naturally to you, it's going to be fractures, isn't
Well,
it?
not necessarily. Actually, I don't think that at all. I have a couple that I worked with where she wanted one thing. He actually showed love in a completely different way than that.
So you're
and by
suggesting
making
that
them understand.
relationships are all about work. Working. You've got to work.
Well, yeah, I do think you have to work in a relationship to make it work. I mean, even my parents, who I think have one of the best relationships I've seen, and actually a lot of the people, that generation of my parents and my family, have a fantastic relationships. They have worked at it. They have worked at it. And my sister as well, who has
There's
one of
a
the
level,
most
isn't there?
incredible
There's a level of
relationship. They
There's the tipping balance of whether the work becomes too excessive.
Well, if the work becomes too excessive, yes. I mean, if it looks like you're, kind of, you need to build a whole big bridge to bind the 2 of you together, that's too much, probably. If you need to do loads and loads and loads. But, if you start off with a combined purpose, and you're sort of, similarity, you're going in the right direction, there shouldn't be that huge bridge that you need. You should grow together, not apart. If you're seeing that you're like this, then maybe there isn't anything that can bind you. But if you're talking about somebody that ticks absolutely no boxes, this person is completely not at all what you would ask for, most likely that's a physical chemistry that's going to go away pretty quickly.
I don't know if it's just for that's a theory. I don't think it is.
Have you ever seen that work for a long term?
Well, I don't know if I've seen anything work in the long term, actually. I mean, any relationship, there becomes a point of demise in the
I mean, I
majority.
wouldn't agree with that personally. And as a love coach, I really, really don't agree with that, actually. I have seen a lot of relationships be very successful long term. In fact, the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to interview those people who are successful long term.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, that's
I'm
going to be
sorry.
that's my next video series. For this video series, let's focus
This
in
is
on...
my idea of serial monogamy. One is a serial monogamist. I think that's actually how.
But that's your new thing that you're doing.
Not doing, understanding it. I'm understanding. I'm watching. I mean, I do a lot of work on love.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
you
love
don't
is a
envision-
very important, in fact, quite a big part of my life. The idea of understanding love and
Okay,
what
so
it represents.
So tell us what
Okay.
attractive looks like in a woman.
For me, I like small,
Explain that.
petite,
Petite,
feminine.
short.
Feminine. Take care in their dress sense.
Okay, so looks after the way she dresses.
I like quiet confidence.
Explain that. So petite meaning you don't mean she's
Well,
short. You mean she's like slim.
Who's going to see this? Because you know there was a very interesting moment that happened the other day. You know, at your thing.
Okay.
It was a really it sort of beguiled me. This moment that I had at your thing the other night.
Okay. My singles event. Yeah.
To Tan, you know, there was this Russian blonde petite Russian girl who was very economical with her communication.
Okay.
Now I was drawn immediately to that because she held herself. She was composed. She didn't kind of spill out at these seams. So it was kind of very.
That's a really good thing. I want you to repeat that. There's something in that.
You can rewind it.
No, I mean that. So there's something about she's not overly.
She was confident, but not overtly externally confident. You could see by her poise. She had poise, elegance, and was comfortable with who she was. It was clear, and I was just immediately, my energy was drawn to her.
Right.
And you know, there's the rest of human beings, and I'm guilty of this, of being overtly look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. So I am attracted to people who are almost the opposite of me.
Right.
I respect the people who are very comfortable with themselves and have kind of posture and poise.
Okay. Posture, poise.
And actually the Eastern Europeans, you know what I like about the Eastern Europeans? They have a spirit. They have an inner spirit that the English don't possess so much. The English
the English women are going to be loving this.
Is very...
No, I want you to explain that, to break that down, because I come... First of all, in my coaching, I come from the point of view of taking the Eastern European with the American and kind of mixing the best of both worlds. Because I do think somewhere in there is
the Americans are a different breed, again, because they err on confidence and... They tend to be happier or certainly
happier, more positive. So
more
there
positive.
is
Well, that's a better word. Much more positive attitude. The British, the English, are kind of err on the negatives more.
So the positive attitude, that's attractive, isn't it?
The Americans, to a point, are more attractive. For me, the Eastern Europeans tick a lot of boxes.
What is it about them that ticks a lot of boxes? That's good that you said this.
Which what?
What is it about the Eastern Europeans that ticks a lot of boxes?
What I just explained, the poise, they're kind of they're doers. I believe that they came from hardship, and in hardship, both spiritually and scientifically, hardship breeds substance. And it's the substance, it's the very fabric, the core essence that people build up in themselves that is really appealing to me. And they hold themselves loyal. They understand the masculine feminine role
Thank you.
better.
I wanted you to hit on that faster,
You're
but it
very
took you
welcome.
this long to get to it. Please, can we talk more about that? Because as you know, I'm really big on the whole femininity thing.
Right, instinct. Everything to me comes down to instinct.
Okay.
Right? The woman has one egg, she's the home, she's the nurturer, she's the one egg at a time. The man is the splattergun, right? We go out, we get things, this is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do. So instinctively we have our roles. The woman nurtures the child. Okay, but actually then women thought they got a bad deal by doing this. They thought the men had the freedom, so they decided they'd get in the workplace. Then they get in the workplace and actually they're more successful than the men. And so the men become demasculated. But I think actually every female wants an alpha male instinctively, but there's less alpha males.
You hope anyway being an alpha male yourself.
What is an alpha male? I mean, that's the other thing.
Okay, without getting into all the philosophies, what we're doing here is helping women be better.
I don't know if I can help women be better. That's up to themselves.
We'll see.
It's perception.
Anyway,
it's perception.
Without
Everyone
getting
can
into
be as
all
good
the
as they
philosophy,
want if they choose it. So.
Can we give a little bit more on this? So femininity is an important thing that a lot of men, you think, look for, because I have heard femininity is one of the things that's been mentioned over and over and over again in the interviews I've done.
Well, appearance is femininity. For me, femininity, the Eastern European is much more feminine these days. They kind of they have more control over themselves, so they're not led astray by the 7 deadly sins. They're kind of more disciplined. I think actually femininity is quite disciplined. I mean, you get a lot of these people who just go around drinking, they kind of fall apart.
That's masculine. Like this kind of women who sort of wear the tank top, they twaddle in the heels. I mean,
and football shirts or whatever.
Yeah, it's not classy. It's not
very...
They're trying to be boys.
They're trying to be boys.
Right.
So there's a big role reversal.
Right. So these women who have become like men, acting very masculine, or maybe doing things like talking very explicitly about things that are not necessarily.
But they fall apart. You know, they overconsume, they overdrink, they're overly loud, and I think all those things a guy.
So when you say the quiet control, you mean like the opposite of loud.
I was absolutely, and in fact, something happened that night that completely beguiled me. Totally. I was completely stuck because I was talking to her and I could see that she was very economical with coming forward. So I needed to be alpha. I got into alpha mode and instead of asked, I told, which I know that a lot of Eastern Europeans like that masculine. They like slight dominance.
Now you were talking that same evening with other women who were English, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it didn't have the same appeal.
Okay.
You know, although you told me they weren't very good looking, and maybe they were, but I didn't see the good looks because the personality was different, right? So now I've got good looks.
What was different about the Eastern? I mean, I'm curious about that because I was there and I know the women I'm talking about. What was different about that personality of the Eastern European, who was also cute, and then the other women who were also good looking?
I think it's also the man as the hunter-gatherer needs to chase. So they need to do work. It's very appealing. Okay. If a girl just gives herself away, there's no challenge. A man needs a challenge, I think. Or certainly I do. I like that kind of sort of, you know, you know, that kind of...
So how does the woman make the man... Okay, as women get older, one of the things that happens is obviously they don't look, you know, as... I think men chase older women much less than they chase younger women. Younger women because they look good. Do you go out with women who are older than you?
I was on a holiday in the Caribbean at Christmas, and I kissed a 63-year-old woman.
Okay. Would you have seen her again?
Tongues and everything.
Okay. Would you be interested in seeing her further?
Yeah, I was surprised at my own actions, whether it was because I was just stuck and the catchment area was average age of 95 and actually she was the best thing going. I couldn't be certain.
But if there had been like, a 25-year-old there.
I was, the response of my friends when I said that was very mixed. I had, oh God. You know, she was beautiful.
Was she good looking?
Yeah, extremely.
Okay.
And had a lovely energy.
So it is possible for women.
Yeah, but you see, the mind kicks in, right? As soon as you think, 63, 70 is 70. I mean, you know, you start thinking ahead. Right.
But if you were 63 and she was 63, that would have been totally fine.
Totally fine.
Okay. So now tell me about that woman. What was it that gave her the effect of like, ooh, she looks good? Because I have some clients in that age range, and I want to know.
She looked after herself. You could see that she just looked after herself, and she had she was confident. She had a confident energy. She just held herself. You know what I mean by holding yourself.
Okay.
You know,
so she had a nice figure.
Nice figure. You know, straight back posture.
Wow. Okay.
You know, it just all those.
Women of that generation. She knew nails done.
Yeah, everything.
So she looked very feminine.
She was very feminine.
Her hair was looked after nicely.
And like this guy said before, you know, eye contact. You know, we like eye contact.
Okay, eye contact. Thank you. So eye contact. Is there anything else like that she had?
I think a woman. Let me tell you something, ladies. Is it mostly ladies out there?
Yes.
If you're confident, it's the key to success.
Okay, now let's say you're confident, but you're 40 pounds overweight.
You get 40-pound overweight women get men if they're confident.
Okay, so there we go. That's what I want to hear on this video.
Everything in life is about self-belief.
Okay.
People will follow you over the cliff if you lead them, if you're confident enough.
Okay. Yeah. I want to know what makes a woman who's older attractive to a younger man. So elegance.
She was you know, she was very complimentary actually.
Okay.
And I think that kind of appeals, you know, complimentary. I mean, quite often they don't, you know, compliments seem to be...
are good.
Compliments are lacking these days.
Okay, so compliments are good. Now tell me, is there any point at which compliments would be like too much? Is there too much compliments? Or is it
Well,
like...
there's a fine line, isn't
you
there,
have to-
between
it has to-
neediness, you know, where
Right.
so, you know, there's need. A guy doesn't like to see neediness.
Right,
Like the
okay.
hook. Like a guy needs freedom,
Okay.
a certain amount of freedom,
Okay.
and
So
so,
the woman should
neediness
give
is kind
freedom.
of neediness.
Okay.
They should give freedom.
And in
I
a
mean-
relationship, that's probably true as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you remember the guys are hunt. He needs to go out, hunt and gather,
Right.
right.
But she's not giving freedom for him to cheat, obviously.
See, I think a lot of problems in relationships these days is the idea of should. You should be here with me. And I was party to that should.
Right.
A married man stays here, looks after the kids, doesn't go out, right? And that causes frustration.
Right.
Then the man starts thinking there's something wrong with them because everybody else does. But actually, they forget to realize actually most men
So-
are unhappy by the idea of being in this kind of family role
So if
because
she-
they instinctively need to go out.
So if she gives him freedom to go out,
Isn't
as
it?
long as he doesn't stray, that's what she should be doing. She should let him go out and hang out with his friends or
Can I ask you a
whatever.
question?
Yes.
And I'm neutral about
Mm-hmm.
my feelings on this at the moment, but why does straying matter so much?
Oh, I'll tell you what it feels like to a woman.
I can see your eyes.
No, I
change.
mean,
I'm now
actually,
scared of the answer.
No,
Can
no,
you
no.
see?
I don't. I've actually never been on the receiving end of that, but I have a lot of clients that have.
I'm just curious. I'm not judging one way
Well,
or
okay.
another.
Well, imagine it from your point of view. If you had a wife that's straight.
I saw a program on polygamy the other day, and
But, I mean, let's say you had a wife that you knew was going out and was seeing occasionally other men for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Whether it was regular dinners or just to have someone else to talk to have someone to flirt with, would you be comfortable with that?
Okay. I believe this, that love exists entirely on its own.
Mm-hmm.
When you connect it to the personality, then you're in trouble. You see, I'm a great observer of things that happen in my life, right? Of why. I question everything. Why did I feel like that? Why was that? What was the neediness in this? All these kind of questions. And I realized the art of letting go of all these associations and identifications is critical, because the human being wants to own another human being, and I think that's where the problem lies. Love it exists in its own entirety, and by that I mean when I split up with my wife, the natural process of disliking, it's immediate. The protection coat comes over of disliking. Right, I don't like them. They did this, they did that. You're trying to build up, reinforce to justify what the situation. And then I got pissed off with being pissed off, and it's like. And I remember going to counselling once, and they said it's 50-50, and I'm thinking, no one likes to think it's always the other person's fault, but it's actually, if you turn that inwards and start looking at yourself, what I did to create this situation, you realise that actually it is 50-50.
Okay.
There's a lot of controversy, right? Because a woman's symbol of nurturing is slave to a system. Well, we're all slave to systems. But I think, it's greed is one of the biggest ingredients of dissatisfaction. And
Explain
greed
that.
is like women decided to want the masculine role.
Okay, so you're saying women get back to their femininity.
Yeah, it's too late.
Okay, we talked.
Too late.
It's not too late. I mean, that's one of the things one of the main things I do is I teach women how
Do
to get
you
back to
not
their
see
femininity.
that relationships are falling apart more now than ever before?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Why do
That's
you
why
think?
I'm doing this. That is exactly why I'm
the
here.
reason is for greed and people role reversal. And
Partially, but it's also because nothing is sacred
everything-
anymore.
Everything is disposable.
Everything's disposable, exactly.
And why is everything disposable?
Because of the Tinder generation.
It's the generation. So what are we doing?
I take personal offense
Bob
with
Dylan
Tinder.
used to say, well, it doesn't matter. You see, one has to go with the times, otherwise one's unhappy. Bob Dylan said, you've got to start swimming or you'll sink like a stone for the time.
Bob Dylan was never actually happy in any of his marriages
Why?
or relationships. It's a
Did you
good
ask him
question.
why?
That's a good question.
Phone him up. Say, Bob.
You know what? If this becomes massive, I want to interview Bob Dylan.
Bob, what's going
My
on?
next-
That's on camera. Good.
Bob, we want to hear from you. Anyway, can we continue? Can we just go on to a few other questions? Because I do want to
Yes.
close this. I know you want to
I'm okay, Bob.
finish at some point. I think. Can we continue? And I want to ask you some questions. So, attraction-wise, you we're very clear femininity and this quiet confidence. That's amazing. I want to take it to the next level. Okay, so now tell me, you go on a date with this quietly confident woman, let's say, or whatever. What makes you want a second date? What is it that happens in that date that then clinches it for you, like, I want to see her again?
Can I put to you that one may not even know? Can I put to you that?
Okay, yes.
Sometimes there's magic
Okay.
that happens, right? Now, people talk about chemistry. I'll use the word magic.
Okay.
And you can't be certain. And I've questioned it, and you know I question things. And there's a certain magic that just exists. There's an energy that dances between two people that is unknown. Now, I'm happy that that just exists without needing an understanding for it.
Okay. Is there anything that women can do to boost that feeling? Is there an energy that she can bring? I mean, I try to teach this energy. I guess I'm trying to box the energy, I know it's difficult.
I think a
because,
woman.
like you said,
I think for a woman's perspective, they need to really love themselves
okay.
because that will radiate.
So glad you said that, because that's one of the things I do really, really, really with lots of
If
almost
you
all
love
times
yourself,
is the
others will love
self-love.
you. If you're a torpedo, everything else will follow in its wake.
Okay. Self-love. I do a lot of that. That's probably the core essence of what I do.
Nobody self-love like you do, Judy.
I teach a lot of that. I teach women
You
self-love.
can edit
Or
that.
I coach women with self-love. That's really, really important. It's the core essence of the work that I do.
I think, self-love
Dressing well.
is the first fucking thing about self-love is accept yourself today.
Okay.
As you are, with the bonbons, without the bonbons, with the drugs, with whatever you're. I am this.
Okay.
And then.
And
then.
then improve.
Because
on who
what
you are.
happens if you don't accept yourself, you go into self-hatred and then you eat more bonbons.
Right. Okay.
So today I am overweight, I eat bonbons, I'm loud, I'm all this. I am this.
Right.
Accept. And then.
And then you move on from there. And then I am this, I want to be that.
Embrace
How do I make myself there?
everything.
Okay.
First of all, embrace who you are. And then choose the work you want to do.
Right. Okay, that's really good actually. That's very good. So now, let's say fast forward. I want to ask you the intimacy question. How soon is too soon, and how
I don't know. I've
how
changed my
long?
views on sex.
Okay, tell us your views on sex, because
There is no amount of time.
that is too soon.
There is no amount of time. It happens when it happens.
Would you wait a year?
I waited 6 months.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so a year is too long, but 6 months you'd wait.
There's no too long. It happens. Why do we need to be in control?
Okay.
It happens, right? You know,
So
sometimes you
what
meet a
would-
woman and it's like you're in bed in 2 hours, right?
And that's okay. And
sometimes
you
everything is okay. Everything
so
is okay
in two,
because
can in 2
happens.
hours become a relationship?
Yeah, I think so.
Has that ever happened with you? Have you ever made in 2 hours into a relationship?
What? Yeah. What is a relationship?
Something that lasts
What
more
a
than one day. Where you see her regularly for a amount of time.
Personally, I prefer to wait.
Okay. You prefer to wait. Okay. Good. That's fine. I
Never
actually
used to.
do know women who have made a relationship from the first night stand, but it hasn't lasted very long, that relationship. But they have. I do know women that have made that happen. But they are very, they're very impressive women to get away with it, by the way.
I don't. There is no. I don't think there's a formula, Julia. Really, personally, sometimes it's the ego wants this control. To work things out. I believe my number one factor of life for success of everything is letting go
Okay.
of ideas. Personally,
So if you have that amazing chemistry, no, I take that back. I actually do know a few couples who have formed from the first night they
It's
met.
like, you know what, I
just
studied
went with
the
it.
optimum time to kiss somebody. What is the optimum time where a man kisses a girl?
I don't know. You tell me. Because I've had some great relationships where he hasn't kissed me for a month.
Exactly. And you know what? There's just a moment that just if one tries to control it, builds up anxiety, builds up rejection ideas, all this kind of stuff. It builds up this kind of thing. And if you let go of that, letting go, there's a moment where it just happens on its own.
Okay.
It just happens on its own,
Okay.
and that's the most. I know you don't like that.
No. I do get it. There is something.
There's a moment now.
There's
Now
something
this
there.
can
There's
come
that connection.
in 10 minutes,
Right.
or it can come in 6 months. But the inner knows. It just kind of, and you know it's going to be a success because.
What happened to that one that you waited 6 months for?
We had a 6-month relationship,
Okay, that's not bad.
and then she annoyed me.
Okay, we won't go there.
And then I had to.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. What would make you consider having like a serious relationship with somebody?
I don't know.
Would you consider marrying
look,
again?
I'm open to anything. And
Right.
the reason I don't know is because when you spend a bit of time on your own, everything changes. And the energy between two people is always different. Some people you think this is great as a friendship lover. Some people you want to live with you. Some people you don't. I'm open to wherever the water takes me.
Okay, so up to this point, have you ever felt that after your wife? Have you ever felt that with somebody like this is a person I can envision my future with?
Immediately I feel that. Look, we paint dreams, right? When you kiss somebody and you're feeling something, the mind is on its own.
Okay, what does that woman like?
What is the woman like?
What is she like? Describe her, that kind of woman that you feel that for. Because there will be a pattern between...
All the things I've described. I mean,
Okay, so she's
it's
feminine.
feminine, you know, like quietly confident, you know, that holds herself, that's sort of self-assured. I like a kind of strong
When you
woman.
say quietly confident, is that
Well,
like
you
a
get
woman
that
that doesn't
confident-
talk that much?
No, they choose carefully their words. You know, they kind of, it's thoughtful process. I love that in a woman. That they're not just, I mean, like, probably, I don't like it myself, because I'm impressed, look at me, partially. Less so now, but, you know, I like the opposite. I like the ones, I'm even in guys that just, you know, when you go into a dinner and you don't know the people, like, what's your position? My position is break the ice. I come in nuclear, boom, look at me, and I make everybody laugh and everyone feels great. And then it connects everybody else, which I think that's my position. But equally, the person that just sits there confidently, because I don't sit there confidently quiet. I can't be confidently quiet. It's a very strange place. So I need communication. So when I'm sitting there, I do that thing, but I look at the person who's just sitting there and just feels really happy with themselves. And then somebody asks them a question, and they think about it. They kind of, it's like the wow factor. Like, you know, they've really got something, and we become prejudgmental of all these people. That really is something that appeals to me. That somebody holds themselves.
So then, if you use that logic, what about like women approaching men?
Well, it's good for man's ego, isn't it?
Does that work, or is that, you know?
Yeah, because you can still be. It's
there a way
it's a confident
to
thing.
approach?
I mean, yeah, there probably is a way to approach. I mean,
Okay.
you know, it's again, if they hold themselves, but they're honest and they just say, you know, hi, I think that really can appeal to a guy. Or there's the, all right, come on, you want to come home for a shag?
No, that's terrible.
You see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
of course
right?
that's
So
terrible.
there's a difference.
So there's something about that feminine woman who holds herself
It's
confident.
like, why can't a woman
She's-
go up to a guy and say, you know, I'm attracted, or, you know, maybe...
Well, she doesn't have to approach him and say, "Hi, I'm attracted." She could approach him
Well,
in a very
it's-
neutral way.
Yeah,
You know, take my picture.
it's okay.
And you hold my wine glass or whatever.
Self-belief, self-confidence, self-love, ingredients to make the cook pot of something you want to taste.
Okay.